Life, in its early chapters, often paints us with simple strokes. I was, by all accounts, a reliable child. People trusted me. Teachers would pick me to run important errands. Neighbors would ask me to watch their pets, even for a little while. My parents, they knew I would do what I said I would do. This trust, it felt like a warm blanket. It made me feel important, seen. I learned early on that being dependable was a good thing. It was a quiet kind of strength, a small seed planted in young soil, a promise of the person I was becoming. This sense of responsibility extended to many parts of my young life. In school plays, I always remembered my lines, every single one. During family chores, I completed my tasks without needing constant reminders. It wasn't about seeking praise, not really. It was more about an internal compass, a feeling that doing the right thing, the expected thing, was just the way to be. This reliability became a part of who I was, like the color of my eyes or the way I laughed. It shaped my interactions and my understanding of the world around me. People knew they could count on me, and that felt good. I often found myself in positions where others relied on my steadfastness. If there was a group project, my classmates often looked to me to keep things organized. If a friend needed a secret kept, they knew it was safe with me. This wasn't a burden, not at that age. It was a badge of honor, worn invisibly. It taught me about commitment, about follow-through. These early experiences, these small acts of being trustworthy, were unknowingly building a foundation I would later need in ways I could never have imagined when life decided to test my strength in a much bigger way. Looking back, that reliability was more than just a characteristic. It was a form of innocence, a belief that if you did your part, things would generally turn out okay. The world seemed orderly, predictable. My contributions, however small, felt meaningful. This period of my life was marked by a comforting sense of stability, a quiet rhythm of duties fulfilled and trust reciprocated. It was a time of sunshine and gentle breezes, before the unexpected storm clouds began to gather on the horizon, threatening to change everything I knew and understood about life itself. Then, when I was 9, life threw a curveball, a big one. It started subtly, a tiredness that wouldn't go away, a fever that clung to me like a shadow. My parents, usually so calm, started to look worried. The days blurred into a haze of doctor visits and hushed conversations. The reliable child, the one who always showed up, was suddenly unable to even get out of bed some days. My body, once a source of boundless energy for play and adventure, felt like a traitor. It was a confusing time, filled with a fear I didn't have words for. The illness progressed quickly, like a fast-moving tide. I remember the weakness most vividly. Simple things, like walking to the bathroom, became monumental tasks. My world shrank to the confines of my bedroom, then to the sterile environment of a hospital. The laughter of other children playing outside my window sounded like a distant memory from another lifetime. There was a constant ache, a deep, unsettling feeling that something was terribly wrong. The emotional turmoil was just as potent as the physical. I felt scared, vulnerable, and utterly lost in a sea of adult concern and medical jargon. My parents tried their best to shield me, to be strong. But I saw the fear in their eyes, the way their smiles didn't quite reach them. The doctors spoke in serious tones, using words I couldn't understand but whose gravity I could feel. Needles became a common sight, medicine a constant companion. The physical pain was immense, a relentless wave crashing over me again and again. But the emotional pain, the fear of the unknown, was perhaps even greater. What was happening to me? Why couldn't I just be the healthy, active kid I used to be? The vibrant world I knew had faded to muted colors. My school friends sent cards, but their cheerful messages felt worlds away from the reality I was living. I missed the simple normalcy of my life, the games, the school lessons, even the chores. The illness stripped away my childhood innocence, replacing it with a heavy awareness of my own fragility. I was no longer just a reliable child. I was a sick child, fighting an unseen enemy that was slowly, inexorably trying to steal my strength and my spirit. It was a battle I didn't choose, but one I had to face. There was a moment in the hospital, a critical moment. I remember the beeping of machines, a frantic sound that seemed to echo the panic in the room. My body felt incredibly heavy, yet also strangely light, as if I were floating. The pain, which had been my constant companion, began to recede. It was replaced by a profound sense of peace, a quiet stillness I had never known. The voices of the doctors and nurses around my bed sounded distant, as if they were calling to me from far away. I felt myself drifting, moving towards something. It's hard to describe what happened next. It wasn't a dream, not exactly. I saw a light, incredibly bright but not harsh. It was warm, inviting. There was no fear, only a feeling of being completely understood, completely accepted. All the worries, all the pain just melted away. I felt a sense of connection to something much larger than myself, a vast, loving presence. It was a glimpse, perhaps, of what lies beyond the veil of our everyday understanding, a whisper from the edge of life, a gentle invitation. In that space, or whatever it was, time seemed to lose its meaning. There was just this incredible feeling of serenity. I wasn't thinking about my illness or my family or anything from my life as I knew it. It was as if I was pure consciousness, suspended in a place of perfect calm. I remember a feeling of being told, not in words, but in a deep, knowing sense, that it wasn't my time, that there was more for me to do. It was a subtle nudge, a gentle push back towards the world I was leaving behind. Then, slowly, the sounds of the hospital room began to sharpen again. The beeping of the machines grew louder. The distant voices became clearer, more urgent. The feeling of lightness began to fade, replaced by the familiar weight of my body, the returning ache. I was back, pulled from that peaceful precipice. The doctors later called it a close call, a miracle. For me, it was a profound experience that would forever change my perspective on life, death, and the fragile thread that connects them. It was a moment where I touched something beyond. The recovery was slow, a journey taken one small step at a time. Each day brought a little more strength, a little more clarity. Leaving the hospital felt like stepping into a world reborn, vibrant and full of details I had never noticed before. The color of the sky, the sound of birdsong, the taste of simple food. Everything felt new, precious. I realized then that I had been given a second chance. This wasn't just about surviving, it was about truly living with a newfound appreciation for every single moment. My body, once a source of pain, slowly became my ally again. This experience shifted something deep within me. Before, I might have dismissed certain things as coincidence, or perhaps even given thought to old superstitious beliefs people sometimes hold about why bad things happen or why someone is spared. But after what I went through, after that glimpse beyond, those ideas felt small, inadequate. I came to believe with a certainty that settled deep in my bones that there was a greater reason for my survival. It wasn't just luck. It was purpose. A purpose I was now determined to understand and fulfill. This belief became my anchor. It gave meaning to the suffering I had endured. It wasn't just a random illness. It was a crucible that had forged a new understanding of life. I started to see connections, to feel a deeper sense of responsibility, not just to be reliable, but to make a difference. however small. The fear that had gripped me during my illness was gradually replaced by a quiet determination. I was alive for a reason, and I wanted to honor that gift. The world looked different, brighter, more meaningful. My journey from near death to new life taught me about resilience, the incredible capacity of the human spirit to endure and bounce back. It taught me about the power of belief, not just in a higher power, but in oneself and in the inherent goodness of life. Today, I try to live with intention, to cherish the connections I have, and to seek out my purpose in every day. I am still here, and that is a profound truth. It's a truth I encourage everyone to reflect upon. Why are you still here? There is a reason. Find it. Live it.